Welcome to the McDougald International Film Festival.
Thank you.
Just into the groove of things.
And your coffee.
This is our second. Yeah, I have my coffee. Welcome back to the McDougald International Film Festival, the second annual film festival, and we're broadcasting from Keene, New Hampshire. And we've had a whole weekend of films and panels and filmmakers and the industry as well as music. And we're talking with some celebrity filmmakers and producers today. And one of them is Alex McDougald.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
And you're the producer of a movie called Live Inside.
That's right.
And which just played here at the theater right next to us. And I love this movie. Tell me a little bit about it so that the people can understand what this is all about.
Well, I think for us, the essence of this movie is really joy and music, and the way that music can sort of engender joy and also memories. Sort of from a more clinical space, the movie looks at the ways that personalized musical therapy can be palliative for patients with Alzheimer's and dementia and other neurological disorders.
So this movie is a documentary, and it started with one man that had an idea.
Yep, Dan Cohen.
Dan Cohen. And he took this music into a retirement home, a local retirement home in his community?
Yep, Dan is from Long Island, and he spent many years in the computer industry, and he got laid off and had also a degree in social work and a love for music, and so tried to sort of pair his past professional experience with a degree he already had and something that he was passionate about. And he went to a nursing home with an iPod, and that was the start of Music and Memory. And I think that was about 8 years ago that he started the organization.
The director, Michael Rosado Bennett?
Yeah.
And he's the one that narrates it as well, right?
Correct, yeah.
He's got a great narration voice, too.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to tell you, I watched this movie in preparation for doing these interviews. I watched this movie at a tech run that we had. And so I'm sitting in a room with a bunch of producers from this event. And, it was impossible not to tear up and watch this movie. I mean, I'm starting to well up just talking about it. And I turned to the executive producer of the film festival, and I said, we've got to have Kleenexes ready at this showing. Are you running into that? I mean, it's tears of joy. It's not.
I am running into it. I know it sounds like a cheap marketing pitch or line, but
Yeah.
I have seen this movie probably 300 times,
Really?
if not more, and I have never been able to sit through it without crying. I didn't see it at this festival, but I came in to do Q&A about 15 minutes before the credits rolled, and I started crying. I mean, it was almost over, but I think that the emotional experience is beyond joy. It goes back to the title. It's aliveness. It's a combination of a whole lot of different emotions that I've never really been able to articulate.
It's almost uncontrollable when you're watching it, unless you turn away from it to just not get sucked up into this.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, I guess maybe it's doing what it's doing to those people. It's doing the same thing to us, only on a bigger level or some more magnified or something, because we're watching them. But
exactly, and I think that's what we're looking for, or we're looking to have people experience is a connectivity with each other and the subjects in the film and the world that I think we've lost to a certain extent.
So one of the great things about the way you did this film is at one point in the film, you actually show people watching the film from the perspective of the computer. So if they're watching a clip of it, you're assuming you're seeing these people actually watching it for the first time, I assume?
Yeah.
And they're having the same reaction that I did and that you've had for the 300th time. They're just, people are getting emotional watching it and stuff. And these images of these people from the perspective of the computer just keep coming and coming and coming. And it's amazingly powerful. This program, it started a program in which they start to put these use iPods?
No, it was the other way around. The program
started the film.
Inspired the film, right?
Okay,
so
all right.
Mike was originally hired just to do a 5-minute little short piece for Dan to use for Music and Memory's website. And as he says in the beginning of the film, he followed Dan for a day to come up with the footage for that 5-minute piece, and that day turned into 3 years. Mike was just really inspired and saw a broader story to tell, and so we coalesced a team and started that work. Yeah.
So, and obviously the film helped, broaden that program, I would assume.
Oh yeah, when the Henry clip went viral, Dan was, I think, in about 40 nursing homes, and now he's in around 400.
Wow. Is it still going strong?
Oh yeah. He just got back from Utah on Wednesday, I think, and the state has committed to rolling out Music in Memory to its 100 nursing homes. The same thing has happened in Wisconsin. I think North Carolina is not far behind. So the goal here is to have this therapy become reimbursable, and I think we're moving quickly towards that dream.
So in your movie, you have a neurologist, Oliver Sacks, and he's talking about how there's a part of the brain that seems to be unaffected by dementia, that this music part of it, I guess, and that by stimulating that part of the brain, it brings back this reality for these people, and in a way, a moment of dignity because they have their life back and stuff. What happens when the music's gone? Does it just, when they're stopped with the music, do they go back, or do you see a change in terms of a long-term change just from the therapy of the music?
Right. So the most sort of powerful long-term change that I can express to you is the reduction in the use of antipsychotic drugs for the patients that are given personalized music. And this has been researched and tracked in several of the nursing homes that Music in Memory is in. And it's startling. I mean, these antipsychotics are literally either killing people or causing them to be completely catatonic. And like the woman in the film says, this does not have to be so. And so, I can't speak to sort of whether if you take the headphones off immediately, does the person slump down, but the long arc, I think, is one that's really beneficial to the patient.
Well, there's also a woman in the movie that seems to be bedridden. She seems very elderly, I would say late 90s or so, and she was pretty unresponsive to anything in the movie. And then you put these headphones on her, and you can see her feet moving and her legs moving and stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there a method to the music that you use, or is it per patient? Like this person likes, remembers fondly, big band music, or this person likes, 50s, rock or something like that.
Yeah. So the best thing is for like if there's a patient that is far gone to the point where they can't articulate to you their favorite music, the best thing is to have a family member who can recall songs and artists and albums that resonated with their mom or dad way back when. And if that's not possible, because a lot of people in nursing homes don't have family that come to visit or that are engaged sort of in their care, then you can try and make or create a personalized experience, based on age, based on ethnicity, just facts about their cultural background and experience, even regional specificity, is informing as well. So yeah, there are ways around not having someone be able to verbalize, what their favorite music or song is. Yeah.
And how often do they let these people listen to it?
I think that's probably nursing home to nursing home, and then there are some patients that are able to implement the therapy for themselves. So I think it's nursing home specific and it's patient specific, right? If there's a patient that's somehow like incapacitated and they need a nurse's assistant or what have you to put the headphones on and to press play, then their use might be a little bit more infrequent than someone who's able to just sort of do it at will. And then there's the problem, we don't have 1 million iPods yet.
Have you got money from, I know you probably work through grants and things like that, but is there money that comes from just donations from, like Apple or somebody that makes iPods and things like that? No, really?
No.
Not even the headphones or anything like that?
We are hoping to have a meaningful relationship with Apple and have been trying very hard to do as much for quite some time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll watch this. And
yeah.
It's one of the most, I have to say, in my discussions since watching this movie for the first time with people telling about the festival, I said, this is the one movie you can't miss, because it's just incredible.
Thank you. Appreciate that.